professional. The question you're asking is, I'm not going to be one to chastise the rest of the group, but my role would be to represent District D. There are a lot of issues. The three that I have is proposing to dredge Red River to prevent future flooding. Other one is to propose the finishing of 3132, giving access to the port, cutting down on the traffic problems we're having on Bert Coons and also on Uri and Flournoy Lucas. And the third is to revisit the Cedar Grove plan to revitalize that whole area. It's not something that I'm going to be doing on my own, and I have worked in groups before when I was in the Air Force, working with budgets. Mainly, though, the jobs that I've had have not had very large budgets for me to individually work with, but I see myself as someone that can handle that particular kind of venture. I guess Mayor Tyler has taken up what Mayor Glover left her to do with road repairs, that particular infrastructure. But again, there have been a lot of, I'm not too sure exactly how the water and sewage is going to impact a lot of the people that I don't think that they really understand what it is that's going on with the building and everything. So some people have called for investigation to audit those particular departments, or just to audit the whole city and find out where all of the money is being spent and what's going on with that.
And this question says, aside from the mandated water sewer infrastructure improvements, what would you see as priorities across the city with regard to other improvements to public facilities or other infrastructure, and how would you see the council addressing those?
Definitely the roadways. We need I-49 completed, and that's part of our growth package. Again, I would love to see 3132 completed to give access to the port. I think that that's probably one of the underutilized resources that we have, and there could be a lot of job creations there just working with the port.
Okay.
Major role. I think that we all should collectively come up with ideas, proposals. The master plan, the 2030 master plan, has a number of economic development issues that are in there. We just haven't had the policies to enact some of those. Mainly the redevelopment of communities. But yeah, the flip side of that is that something needs to be done to bring in new industries so that incomes can improve, and so that I guess the part of what is happening with us now is that we have, some people say we have a crime problem, okay? Some people want to increase the police force. And my thing is that when I read the paper, I read the police blotter, I see the pictures in there, I'm looking at the news, and I see, well, it's not the middle class black people that are doing the shootings. So my thing would be, an economic development thing, would be to expand the black middle class. Ooh, I don't even know what those controls are right now. But I think that audits will probably take care of a lot of that, and once that is complete, when we find out what is going on with the money, the funds, then I think that collectively we can probably get together and come up with something that would be satisfactory to everyone.
Okay.
I would say probably based on their experience, the responsibilities that they've had before, pretty much their work record, whether or not they have received accommodations for their achievements. The mayor is doing the hiring, and she has something. I think that probably an oversight for the city council is just something. I don't know how much input that we would have in something like that. I think it's imperative. One of your past presidents, Philip Roseman, wrote several years ago an article about that collective coordination, working together. It's imperative. I mean, they have a committee that they started over with the Metropolitan Planning Commission. They left out a lot of names that should have been on there. They only wanted to work with the Greater Chamber and the LSUS, and they kind of mentioned the parish, but I thought that Southern University, Centenary College, Caddo Parish Schools, because some of the things that they want to accomplish has to start with Caddo Parish Schools. VOTEC, all of those particular people need to be at the table. In my announcement, one of the last things that I said when I was announcing for this particular position was that I would be the first to volunteer as a city council person to meet on an annual basis with all of those entities to see where we are, where we're going, and what adjustments that we need to make. Bossier Parish is doing that, and the city of Bossier is doing that right now, and they're being successful with it. I guess most people would probably say that it's crime. This is something that we just finished talking about, but yeah, I would say that in order to reduce certain crimes, would have to expand the black middle class. I think that probably the black churches have probably for a number of years been looking for a partner to work with them. They have deposits in the banks, but it seems that certain things that should be going on within those particular communities, in the development of those communities, are not taking place simply for the reason that they don't have a partner to work with them in doing that. I would say that we probably need to use all of those resources that are underutilized at the present time, the port being one of them. Now, Bossier has done a good job of working with Barksdale Air Force Base when they developed CSR, but Shreveport has not made a tremendous effort in working with Barksdale. I would say that the City Council would need to work closely with CADDO Parish schools. You're defining what it is that you want to develop, but do you have the workforce that's trained and able to handle those particular jobs? Times you get misunderstandings about what it is that you are proposing, and without further clarification, sometimes those particular things can be misunderstood. I'm very, very independent, so I have a perception of my own as to how things should be done. If someone approaches me with an idea that is not along the lines, and they want me to buy into their idea, which puts me in a bad position, I'm not likely to do that. No, I think that we've got some starts. The AT&T, what they've done over in Queensboro, needs to be definitely in my district. My Cedar Grove, the part of Cedar Grove that is in my district, Eden Gardens and Pine Valley, is right up against Spring Lake. I think that that is a prime place for AT&T. Shreveport probably needs to be a communications and transportation hub with I-49 and with I-20 crisscrossing. I think that there are some things that can be done. Of course, the people up in Fort Smith would say, well, you know, we'd like to have that particular access to your port, but we've got 140 miles of I-49 that we have yet to complete. So, yeah, I would think that probably being a communications and transportation hub would be something that Shreveport could really accomplish easily.